Hello everyone, and sorry for the delay between updates, and welcome to this, my first Kickstarter Spotlight. So, since this is my first, I think I'd best explain exactly what a Kickstarter Spotlight is and what I plan on doing with them. Well, Kickstarter, as many of you will know, is a lovely website to go to if you've got a project that you're wanting to get completed but don't quite have the funds for, and you can basically open it to investors, and the investors are people like you, people who go on and will pledge a small amount of money, sometimes even a large amount of money, to help back these projects and hopefully get them underway. They usually entail you getting either a copy of the product or the service or whatever it is as part of your backing, but it's an excellent website with lots of things that wouldn't normally get funded can actually get the money that they need. And one of the best things about it is there are lots of games on there. And when I say lots, I mean lots. I say lots, an awful lot in this video apparently. Many of them are terrible. And you look at them and think, well, they're the kind of games I expect usually to come out for free and hardly anyone to play. But every now and again there's a little gem in there, either created by a large company who publishers won't touch this type of game for whatever reason, because they think there isn't potential in it, or they think there isn't a market for it. And this is exactly what this kind of Kickstarter thing is all about. So in this series I'm going to be highlighting some of these hidden gems that maybe you'd want to back, or maybe you just want to keep an eye on for when they come out. But hopefully it'll be a useful series and give a little bit of a spotlight, hence the name, to these games. So, without further ado, let's get on to the first game. So the first game I've chosen to spotlight is this, War for the Overworld. So before I actually start talking about it, as they've got a lovely video to start off, I think we'll just cut straight to that, and I'll come back and talk about it a little bit more when I get back.
Welcome back, Underlord, to the War for the Overworld. I'm sure you've already found that the darker pleasures in life are calling you. As an Underlord, you will have powerful spells and rituals at your disposal. The many wicked creatures that roam this realm will flock to your dungeon as your power grows. You will have the power to direct them to perform a variety of tasks that best suit your wicked scheme. As your minions explore the uncharted depths, they may come across ancient shrines infused with various magic. These shrines will grant boons to your creatures or subvert the power of your enemies. But be warned, Underlord. The Emperor has heard whispers of the great evil that is stirring beneath his lands, and will stop at nothing to vanquish your malevolence from the Overworld. If they manage to survive the acid, lightning, and hellfire that you've unleashed upon them, is there any better way to ruin an unwitting hero's day than by placing dozens of traps and obstacles in their way? In a survey, 9 out of 10 Blood Imps said no. It would be wise to use special tactics, and to pull out that trick that you have hidden up your, well, wherever it is an Underlord hide things. Or if you desire, you can simply create the dungeon of your darkest dreams. You can always give your minions a wanton slap now and then. There are two kinds of Underlord. Those that choose to follow but one path, and those that embody the three vile veins of sloth, greed, and wrath. Your minions are waiting, Underlord. All that remains is for you to accept the call and join the battle in this war for the Overworld.
And welcome back. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. For those of you who never played Dungeon Keeper 1 or 2, which was created by Bullfrog a long time ago now, I'm showing my age since I used to play them all the time, it's probably the game I most wanted the next sequel to come out, the trilogy, Dungeon Keeper 3. It was already planned after Dungeon Keeper 2, because if you got to the end, if I remember correctly, there was a little hint and a little sneak peek of what Dungeon Keeper 3 would be like. But sadly, Bullfrog, the creators, got bought out by EA a long time ago. And this never happened, and it's a game I've always wanted. I've discussed this many times with my friends. Dungeon Keeper 3 is probably the game that I most want to play, and this is pretty much exactly that. Although it says it's influenced by Dungeon Keeper, Overlord, StarCraft and Evil Genius, it's quite obvious that the biggest influence was Dungeon Keeper, which I couldn't stress more is an excellent thing. So, let's talk about it a little bit. Let's talk about what I expect from it, I guess, first. What I expect is a real-time strategy where I get to mine out and carve my own little neck of the underworld, my own little dungeon, expanding that with rooms and attracting minions to help me do this. And that's pretty much the only thing I expect. If it has those simple things of resource gathering, room creation, by creating the different rooms you attract the different minions, then I'll be happy, because that's close enough to Dungeon Keeper that I would play this for ages. So if we actually talk about War for the Overworld a little bit now, not just what I'm expecting, but what they've actually said they're going to give. So, at the time of recording this video, they're on almost £47,000 of their 150,000 that they need. There's still 26 days to go, and hopefully by the time I've edited this video and got it uploaded, there'll at least be 25 days left, so there's still plenty of time to back it. But they're doing what lots of successful Kickstarters do, by giving goals. So when it hit 40,000, we unlocked the little red fire imp, I'm guessing which is your worker, and as we get further, so 50,000 is the next major step, that will unlock something else, and then 60,000 we get the second unit. So it's a nice little scheme that encourages people to carry on to find out what more is in store. And obviously the more gets donated, the more they will add into the game. They've already said that the way they're going to release this game will be the major release, so it's kind of the fully polished playable beta, I guess, which will be coming on August 2013. You can get more full details if you follow one of the links in the description to either the Kickstarter or the product's website. Once we've got to this stage, then they will be slowly incrementing through the different options that have been taken via Kickstarter, because they're having a lot of feedback from the Kickstarter community and the people who back them, so obviously the people who are playing the game, and they'll be adding in lots of these features. So kind of like a Minecraft scenario where there's a fully playable game on release, beta, and then they're just going to keep incrementally adding new things, hopefully make the game even better. Let's talk about the features a little bit. So, obviously they've said that you get to build your own dungeon, which actually is probably one of the best things about this game. If you did play the original Dungeon Keepers, the amount of time I spent finally crafting the perfect dungeon, stopping heroes getting to your heart, it was a lot of fun. And obviously this game has a lot of that in it. It's a real-time strategy game, which we've actually not seen so many great real-time strategies lately. The really popular ones are obviously StarCraft 2, which is pretty much taken centre stage as the big, only playable real-time strategy. Lots of the others have sort of dropped by the wayside, which is quite disappointing, because it's a genre that I did really like as a kid. I played all the original Command & Conquers and obviously Dungeon Keeper and games like that, and I kind of want something that captures that essence of Dungeon Keeper 1 and 2 for me, that as a kid I'd sit at my computer for hours and master all these things. So hopefully this does that. It's got spells and rituals. There's not too much detail on what the spells and rituals are exactly, but I would assume that's for helping stop heroes get into your dungeon. There's minions, obviously. You have your fire imps, as you saw in the video, which I presume is your worker, so they'll be the ones who do your evil bidding, crafting out rooms and various things such as that. There's obviously rooms. According to the Kickstarter, there are dozens of unique rooms, which I'm not quite sure how many dozens is, but multiples of 12 apparently, since that's what a dozen is. So I'm hoping there is quite a lot of rooms, because the more rooms you have, as long as they're not excessive and just pointlessly rooms for the sake of rooms, then that should be quite good. And we've got defense, shrines, and veins of evil. So there is a research tree as you go along, which is quite good. That gives a little bit more playability to it. And one of the more interesting things that they've said they're bringing is different game modes. So not only we have the campaign, which I think is fairly important. I assume that'll work like many other games, so you'll start off with maybe 1 or 2 rooms, and as you progress through the campaign you unlock all the different types of rooms until you fully know what everything does, which will then bring you on to the next game mode, multiplayer. These games, although fun single player, really are about the multiplayer. Sitting down with a friend, with opposing dungeons and fighting it out. It should be a lot of fun. And finally, this is the sandbox mode, which gives you the power of the developers. So back in sort of the late 90s, early 2000s, all these type of real-time strategy games would always come with kind of a level editor, either added on later or at release. And that meant that you could build your own maps and share them. And strangely, now some of them have moved away from that. So they provide the maps, and the reason they don't give you a level editor is simply so they can sell on either add-on maps as DLC or something like that. And having a level editor is such a key part of these games, because community is a large part of these games, and nowadays we have this massive online community, so simply having a forum and a popular game means that you have thousands of people, and some of them maybe even better than your own staff at creating these levels. And that's what makes these games popular and what continues them on long after they've stopped selling and keeps their lifespan going, is this lovely community who will create levels for you. So that should be good, and I'm very interested to see what people come up with out of this level editor. They've said that they're actually creating much of the game with this level editor in mind, and that's how powerful the tool is. So as long as the game is good, that shows hopefully that the level editor is powerful enough that anyone can create a decent enough level and then hopefully share it online for everyone to see. So that's pretty much all I've got to say on this. I'll maybe update the description or annotate this video a little bit more as we get a little bit more information. But for now, hopefully you like this video, hopefully you'll consider backing this project, and I will see you in the underworld.